Hi, my name is Grace Hopkins, and welcome to another episode of Spun Weekly for you, my Patreon family. First of all, if you hear something in the background, that's the bean. She's really struggling with sleep right now. She turned 2 on July 4th, and I swear she's going through a regression. But I talked through most of the dyeing process, but I just wanted to show you what I did. It's just a simple kettle dye, and I use several different types of fiber. This is actually the fiber from the Spin Weekly Patreon swag packages. So if you're a member of the swag packages, this is the genesis of your colorways. I dyed all the colorways in the same process. So you can see there's BFL locks and soft silk and first shearing kid mohair locks, as well as, I think that's all you see here, but there's also some roving in various different kinds. So first of all, what I did is I used an upholstery thread as my core, and I stripped down the roving. I believe this is a Talky roving. Yeah. Did a smooth core spun across this. I was really kind of concerned that the upholstery thread was going to be too slick. Man, I can't get my words out today. Too slick. But it worked quite well, and it was really strong and didn't get obnoxiously twisted. It just behaved really, really well. So another thing I wanted to say is last week you saw me really struggling with my tension, and I got the new spring piece. As we all predicted, things got much easier to do, and that really makes my life a lot easier. So you can see it's going more smoothly. I did still struggle a little bit to find the sweet spot, but I feel like it was less of a disaster. So let's see, as I'm spinning, I also wanted to say that hopefully these videos will be a little bit faster of a turnaround. As you all know, I struggle with my computer, and I think we finally got it to do what it needs to do. Technology has been reminding me to slow down and create long-form, really detailed videos. So I'm having a lot of opportunity to film a lot of more complicated projects while my computer doesn't cooperate. So I think in the end it works out well for you. So here we go. I am using this to spin a single ply wrapping thread. So you can see my core is sitting up there on the secondary bobbin. And then I mixed my roving, and I think I used a blend. I don't remember. The swag package was specifically a bunch of odds and ends because I wanted a lot of different bits and bobbles. So it's hard for me to remember exactly what's going on. Yeah, this is definitely some kind of a blend there. Oh, it was one of the Paradise Fiber of the Month. It's a plant blend. I think it was the mint blend, mint and Polworth? Something like that. It was a unique plant fiber that was in there. And then you can see the darker bit, that's a shock of faux cashmere. The faux cashmere is actually going to be the star of this upcoming, it will be the July Patreon swag package. And I'm also going to be doing a video talking about working with cashmere and all that sort of thing. But before all that, you'll be able to see me process the Romney fleece from patients and also the Cormo ombre. Everybody voted for the Cormo ombre, and then I'll be making the faux cashmere mermaidy. So this is just a really basic single ply. I tried to keep the tension really well balanced and maybe slightly more twisty than I would usually make a single because I'm going to ply it. But in general, I was mostly just exploring the new tension on my wheel. And as you can see, it looks very much similar to my old Luette. Things are going well. I'm really happy with how the tension works much better with the little coil and spring. So In fact, I'm so in love with these. As I mentioned before, I'm in the process of becoming a Spinolution dealer because I really do think these wheels are the best. I actually tried to find alternatives because I didn't like the fad aspect of the wheel. Always an offbeat soul am I, but I couldn't find anything better. So, I mean, hey, if you can't beat them, join them with bells on your toes. So here I am doing a bubble ply with my single and my core. I did find that this bobbin, and I think it's because the bobbin is quite small, I had a little bit of problems getting it. The intake was a little funky, but I'm a large proponent of the pulling wheel. I like my intake to pull against me pretty hard, so that often makes my tension a little bit unusual because I like such a hard pull. But you can see in the single how the different fibers and the faux cashmere made a really beautiful organic Berber pull. I really love that. This whole yarn, I mean, I could have just left it the way it was, and in fact I did one of the pieces I left this way, and I'll be donating that to the weaving weaving fund. My parents are actually in the process of, they purchased a house and they're building a bathroom, and anybody who's familiar with ministry knows that coming home is really, really busy. It's usually the most stressful and overscheduled time. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to get much footage of her weaving simply because she hasn't been able to get time to weave, really. So here you can see me really struggling with attaching these two. So I just tied it in a knot rather than unnecessarily struggle. And now comes the fun. Okay, so this is some, it's like cheeseclothy stuff that I got from Whitney, one of my dear Instagram fiber friends. She sent me a swag package of all kinds of really interesting things, and it actually inspired this video. So I wanted to test out wrapping a bubble plied core spun with lots of different materials. So here you can see I'm trying to get I got the hiccups, a really good intake going on, and I struggled with getting it to go, but you know, I got there eventually. If I were to do this again, I think I would shred it further down so that way it was a lighter wrapping, because it kind of covered up all of the bubbliness. Or maybe I would put it around the initial core as like an auto wrap and then bubble ply that. I'm not totally sure. This stuff is some Throster. No, this is a soft silk. This stuff is soft silk, and I think probably the easiest to wrap around. Again, you can work really hard to get it to be almost spider webby to get a translucent wrapping, or you can be a little thicker. The thing that I really struggled to avoid was doing like a barber pull, because that wasn't my goal. My goal was to wrap it and not like ply it. So you can see how they're empty spots, but I wanted to keep them empty spots because they were thin rather than barber pulley. So I really liked working with this. It was easy, and I don't know what that was. Editing has been interesting, so ignore that. These are the Kid Mohair locks, and by far my favorite to work with. They are both transparent and floofy and just magical. It's like a watercolor over your existing fiber. I can't even speak highly enough about these. And because they have a longer staple length, they stick to each other, and they were super easy to draft out and work with. It was just it was a dream come true. Again, they minimized the bubbling, but you can't really see in this video, but it's almost translucent, like I said before. So it minimized it slightly, but not, I don't know. And a close second for my favorite is these fluffed BFL locks, because as well, they were very translucent, easy to work with. These ones are super fuzzy and ethereal in a different way, but the translucency of this one shows up a lot better because the sheen is lower, so the camera can pick it up. These, it would probably have to be the kid mohair followed by the soft silk, kid mohair, BFL lock, soft silk, and then the other one, the cheesecloth. I liked it, but like I said, I think I didn't strip it down far enough and I didn't get a good translucency. And then I tried to wrap with a bit of the same faux cashmere that I worked with the original, but you can see how I'm doing it like a wrapped 2-ply here, because I felt like this one was going to be pretty heavy, so I wanted to see if I can get it to really show up with the 2 bubble plies. And it did, but again, I felt like my initial concern was that it was going to cover up a lot of that texture, and it did. But, you know, it certainly wasn't ugly, and it was extremely soft. So then when I was finished with all of my wrapping, I did go ahead and 2-ply the bubble ply just to show you how pretty that looks. And here they are all together, so you can kind of see how they look. There's the initial bubble ply. So as you unwind it, you can see how beautiful that is. I mean, I'm not sure how it would knit up, but for weaving, it's extremely beautiful. Not that it wouldn't be beautiful knit, but I have a limited understanding of how texture works in knitting, so I'm not going to comment on that subject. And this is the soft silk, and as you can see, it's really kind of chalkboardy almost is the impression that I get. I really love it. The camera work here is a little funny because my editing program kind of, you don't want to know. So it's not as smooth as my regular edits. But I really love how that looks, especially in combination with some other yarns. This is the cabling. Freaking love this. This one I feel like would work up more easily for a traditional knitter. It would have a lot more subtle texture. It's also a good way to mix colors together to avoid pooling. And then of course the piece de la resistance, the mohair. It's just a fluff of beauty. I freaking love this. I feel like because this part isn't sped up, I'm just gonna gush all over. It's just gonna be a gush festival. But you can see here the faux cashmere. It's a lot more sophisticated as a whole. As I was spinning it, I felt like it was kind of ruining the texture, but when you look at it as a full yarn, I like the chunkiness, and I do see the texture coming through. So, and of course you can see that these are all twisty. I haven't set any of them. Setting locky yarn would be not good. Little tiny scrap for weaving. And this guy. I think he will be really beautiful for weaving, and he really is beautiful. It's just not quite what I had pictured, but I'm definitely not disappointed. This is actually a peach color. It's just showing up really orange in this weird light. My cream cushion with my yellow skin and red shirt did not make the color balance very normal. But this one, you can see how I feel like it's very true to the sheep. If the sheep were to die and go to heaven and become a mermaid angel, that is what it would look like. So this is the mermaid angel sheep yarn. Very catchy. And that's the single that I used to ply. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.